Greetings and salutations, folks. James here, the Purposeful Peak Performance Coach, coming at you with another thought of the day. Today's topic, or the thought, is the phrase human being. What does that mean? What does that look like? Here's a question for you. If you was to ask a fish, how's the water? What do you think the fish will say? If you was to ask a bird, how's the air? What do you think the bird will say? If you ask a human, how's your being? What do you think the human will say? All three of them, in order, would reply, what water? What air? How am I being? Or what do you mean by my being? The point is, we are so used to being in our surroundings and we're so used to being in the life that we live, we can never, ever fully appreciate or comprehend the things that we're doing because we're so immersed in it. So as I said, you ask the fish, how's the water? The fish would be like, what water? They don't know they're swimming around in water because that's their environment. The same as the bird. You ask the bird, how's the air? The bird would be like, what air? Because they're used to being in that environment. And you ask the human particularly, how's your being? They don't know because that's who they are. That's who they've always been, is human. But they don't understand the ingredients that goes into your being that makes you human. So for us to fully understand what it means to be a human or human being, we have to look at it from the context of understanding who we are and what makes us who we are. Now, I speak to the people I support on this coaching journey that when it comes to understanding ourselves, there's three ingredients that go into us as people or us as human beings. Now, the first one is your early years trauma. The second one is your socialization or the way you were socialized. And the third one is your unconscious bias. Now, those three things, in my perspective, and what I've seen so far, are the three key elements that makes us who we are as human beings rather. So let's look at it very briefly. The first one, we'll talk about early years trauma. Now, this is a very key one because our childhood experiences, particularly experiences with our parents, our caregivers, maybe our friends and family, would shape us till this day. And that experience usually, when we talk about childhood trauma, is based around your physical trauma, emotional trauma, and maybe sexual trauma. And we have all gone through something along those lines. And when we dig deep into it, we look at very specifically the age of 5 to 13. Now, in that age group, something definitely would have happened to us, whether physical, mental, or emotional. And that experience is what has shaped us to who we are today. Then we look at the socialization aspect, the people that we are grown up with, our parents, our siblings, our friends, our family, even the neighborhood we grew up in. What was occurring in that instance, and what was occurring around those elements that shaped us into who we are today. And finally, the unconscious bias that we all hold about people, about ourselves, about the environment that we live in. All those three elements are the ones that contribute to who we are as human beings. Now, the journey of self-discovery has to start at that particular point. Understanding who we are based around those three key elements. Now, once we understand those three key elements, only then can we start peeling the layers away to dig deep into understanding ourselves, our subconscious thoughts, and the things that we do knowingly and unknowingly. But they're built around those three key elements. So the work that we do with people is to understand those three elements. And once we do that, once we fully understand how your early years trauma has shaped you, how your socialization has had an influence on your life, and then how your unconscious biases has been developed based on those experiences. Only then can you start understanding who you are. So it's important to really understand, as a starting point for this journey of self-discovery, to understand who you really are. And to caveat this, I always pose this question. When you take away the things that you do, when you take away your career, when you take away your role as a parent, a husband or a wife, when you take away your role as the breadwinner, when you take away the role of caregiver, all the things that you do, when you take them all away and you're left with yourself, just you, who are you? Now that question is quite daunting, but also very, what's the word I'm looking for? It can evoke a lot of emotions, but that question is really important. Who are you? How many of us have actually asked ourselves this question in the mirror as well? If you're able to do that, hey, welcome, the journey can start. But if you can't do that, the journey has to start. Points to reflect on. This is James, your Purposeful Peak Performance Coach, coming at you with another thought of the day. I'll see you on the next one.